NFL playoffs? We're talking about NFL playoffs? You bet we are. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the NFL playoffs. And the key to you scoring big is betting on them at DraftKings, the number one place to bet touchdowns.
Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple, like a player to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. The Manders had a big night, and so did Terry McLaurin, so I'm eyeing his props this coming week. And here's another reason to watch your favorite players crush it in the playoffs. New customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly.
Score big during the NFL playoffs with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Jenkins. That's code Jenkins for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Was that your second pick of the whole shit?
Yeah, so
okay, that's what I was wondering. Okay,
had
cool.
to be my second pick. So I didn't get to pick till the third round. You feel me?
Yeah. We talking some baseball shit, y'all. You feel me?
But here's the thing. I was going to throw a tantrum.
As long as you know your life. That's all.
I was going to throw a tantrum. I was going to be like, you got to move this kid down to third round, like, so I can get my pick in the second. But I ended up with, it's a snake draft, and I got the first pick because Vinny was graded as a top kid. So the first pick of the third round and the last pick of the second round is the exact same shit. So I didn't even throw a tantrum.
We got to say, Vinny's a top kid in his age group. No. I'm going to do it. I'm the uncle. This is my job. Vinny's a top pick and the top kid in his league, and he's also a student of the month. Come on, dog.
He's having a good week.
Shout out to player. And he gave the award to his sister.
He's having a good
week. What type of child is this, man? Beautiful. Beautiful.
He just came from above, brother.
Hey, man.
We were gifted with the easy one. One easy one, and
he got a lot of y'all in you. He got a lot of y'all.
Don't get too easy ones, man. So.
He got a lot of y'all in him.
Welcome to Jenkins and Jones on the Volume Podcast Network. It is Tuesday, January 14th. We're talking about the Vikings getting embarrassed on national television. We're talking about the rumors about Deion going to the Cowboys. We're going to do a dudes naming guys segment, which I'm very excited for. We've got the Dragon iPhones Chronicles. We're gonna maybe discuss bringing back gossiping as a mission of John's this year, and then if we have time, I've been bumming this off, but I think today is the day to do it. I'm gonna talk about how I stopped being such a fat ass. I think we could
love that.
I know people have been hitting John up about wanted to hear about that. So about that's what everyone
inspired by Mike. You know what I mean?
That's what everyone tunes into the podcast for is weight loss tips.
Hey, nigga, we in our 40s.
Yeah,
hey,
that's
and if you're in your 30s too, because it can get weird. It can get weird in your 30s too. You know what I mean? Come on.
As always, Jenkins Jones, hosted by LaJethro Jenkins, aka John.
What's that, Bubba's?
Dragonfly Jonez, aka Tyler.
Hey, everybody, have a good.
I'm Gardy B, aka Mike.
Motherfucking Mike.
Motherfucking Mike.
Motherfucking Mike.
Motherfucking Mike. Motherfucking Mike.
Coming to you. Hell yeah, Tyler. I love when Tyler picks up the vibes, bro. We just can go crazy, nigga. That's my nigga.
For life.
For life, nigga.
Well,
Five life, nigga.
Always,
as a young nigga say.
5 life, they love the 5 life. They love 5L. Nigga. Produced as always by the equally lovely, equally talented tandem of Josh Rodriguez and Jackson Sapp.
How you doing?
What's how you doing?
But the pod is bi-coastal again, by the way. We're 60-40 West Coast, East Coast right now because Josh is out. Josh is on the East Coast. So, there's all kinds of times for Jenkins and Jones right now. Is it the morning? Is it the afternoon?
Who's to say?
Stick a hoot. Who's to say? Let's talk about the football game last night. I got a chance to watch that thing. The Vikings, I was tweeting it out. Is Minnesota the only sports curse that feels like it might be an actual curse? Like an actual hex placed by someone who knows how to play a hex? I don't know of any other sports fan base that continuously gets their heart ripped out and shit on the way that Minnesota sports fans do, bro.
It is rough. It is like you said, it is a long-standing tradition, the Minnesota sports curse. And the unique thing about the Minnesota sports curse is they have really good teams that just fall flat in the postseason. That's their thing. It's not like they're the Browns or Cleveland sports where they just suck forever, right? Like, bro, to this day, the 15-1 98 Vikings are the second best team that I never saw win the Super Bowl behind the undefeated Pats, in 07. That squad with Randy Moss and
Dante
they lost on
Culpepper,
that.
Randy Moss.
Yeah. No,
So
98
fun,
they had Cunningham 98. But
Okay,
Oh, you're right. My bad.
yeah. But they lost that. They went 15-1, lost a playoff game on a fucking field goal to the Falcons of all teams.
No,
like,
no,
how do you
no.
let the
They lost it on his first miss of the season.
Mhm.
He had not missed one field goal the whole season until the one to end the season. Like,
Yeah.
Was this
And-
the Dirty Bird Falcons though? That was kind of tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of tough though. Yeah.
And then we see how this Minnesota Timberwolves squad is just falling apart. Like, bro, I don't even think they make the playoffs after going to the Western Conference Finals last season. They're in hell right now. It's just and then we see this squad, bro. Like I told you, I saw the old Sam Darnold come back, week 18, and I was like, I'm selling all my Viking stock, bro. And we saw they are calling that man Same Darnold on the internet. They're putting an E behind Sam and calling that man Same Darnold on the internet because he reverted back to the guy who we unfortunately has been for most of his career except for this season. But yeah, bro, it's like I said, dog. I feel like we do this every season with the Rams. It's like we don't talk about them all season, then postseason they're gonna get a win or two, and we're like, oh, we need to talk about the Rams more, bro. And I think the Rams can beat the Philly too. Like I think they can go to the NFC Championship, man. I wouldn't be surprised.
yeah. I mean, it's the McVay Stafford thing. I think I just saw a stat that Stafford is 18-3 in December and January since he got to the Rams. Like,
That's wild.
And he's kind of similar to the Rams story every year, like you said, where just because of the way the career started, a certain narrative set in, and it's like if you actually step back and evaluate his career in its totality, he's looking like a Hall of Famer, one of the best of his generation. You know what I mean? It's just he just was in Detroit for a while to start it. Did you see the Levitar meme he did with the Fred from Scooby-Doo snatching the mask off, and it was Sam Darnold, and he snatched the mask off, and it was still Sam Darnold? Damn, bro. One of our Jenkins and Jones fans, Jeremy Scooter Magoo 88, tweeted at me. He said, my formative sports memory is the 98 Vikings, and he's a Vikings fan. My formative sports memory is the 98 Vikings and a kicker who had been perfect in the regular season, missing a game to send us to the Super Bowl. I've been chewing glass since 1988, and my jaw is tired. He said he got in trouble for yelling at his mom because he was so mad about that game. I said, I need the story. He said, 10-year-old me bet my mom that the Vikings would win because his mom knew better.
His mom might be a lifelong Minnesota, and it's like, no, honey, this is not what we do. Good things do not happen to us.
Yeah, he said, upon losing, my mom rubbed it in for a long time after the game. I got pissed and told her to shut up, and she swiftly and painfully reminded me that we were not and never would be equals in that way.
Hey, brother.
Good old moms.
Hey, yeah, for sure. Shut up is crazy.
Yeah.
I already know the question you're asking.
Okay.
I'm saying
yeah, I was gonna say. I was wondering.
Because shut up is crazy.
Wow.
But that's how upset he
the
was.
mom
That's
reaction
what you have
gave
to
me
picture.
some-
That's
yeah,
how
the-
upset
Yeah,
he was.
some clarity. That
Yeah,
that
the mom reaction
clarified
gave
it.
me some clarity. Yeah. I'm very anti spanking your kids, but I think mama should let off on your ass. You tell her shut up. You might deserve a nice little pippity
I'm gonna
pop.
keep it a bean. Sammy could talk to me anyway. She won't. I ain't tripping. You feel me? Like she get to talking to Rod a particular way. I'm like, nigga. All right, now you know what I'm saying. Like we need to reel this in. You feel me? Like,
Yeah,
yo,
don't nobody
Bo,
play
you
with
can't-
mama. Hell no.
they can't talk to mom any type of way. I feel like you could talk to. You talk to mom a particular way. Like you might
That's the
take
only-
that out into the world. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You
That's the
feel me?
only
Like
thing that gets me off the couch. My kids know that. Like, if they say it, you don't, it doesn't. It could be oblique. It could just be some like, yeah, I know. The reason your mom is telling you to do this is at this time is so she's not rushing to take your stupid fucking ass to practice. Like,
right. I'm the homie. Like, you know what I mean? I'm good. You can talk to me like, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Yell. I ain't gonna yell back. None of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, mom is that's a particular position, nigga. Like, we gotta respect that position. You feel me? So
my kids can't talk to me any type of way, but I wouldn't yell back. You know what I mean? It would be like a firm boundary of like, hey, that's not how, hey, you're not going to talk to me like that. Like, whatever. But if you say some shit to your mom, I'm yelling at you immediately. Like, that car is going 0 to 60 immediately. I know I did not just hear.
I know this nigga ain't here talking like that to his mama.
I know I didn't just hear is the most dad sentence humanly utterable. Can you imagine saying that in a context outside of being a dad? I know I just didn't like
I'll be saying that. I know this nigga. Nigga, that's a comment. Yeah. Like a motherfucker, if motherfucker's flaming, a nigga jump in with some shit. I know this nigga ain't talking. You don't even look at him. You don't even look at the motherfucker. I know this nigga ain't talking.
Right.
Dude, that was the time to turn around and run away, brother. For sure. You ever got hit with I know,
the look away point at, and you point like this too. I know this. So
it's about to be some
this nigga up real
about
quick,
to be some real greasy Italian jokes coming after this.
Yeah.
All right. There was an image. This was a fun story out of the Eagles game. I don't know if you guys saw this, but AJ Brown was on the sideline of the Eagles game, reading a book in between series of their playoff game. A couple people noticed it, asked him about it. People were making fun of it because they were saying it was the LeBron. You know, that it was like, oh, he's just doing it for show or whatever. And he took it a little personal. He was putting up pictures of the book with shit highlighted and underlined. Like, I know I'm reading this motherfucker here. Don't call me LeBron.
That's even more LeBron.
They showed photos of him. Like people were posting photos of him reading it before too. Like, this wasn't the first time it happened. This is the first time somebody caught on to it. So this wasn't a performative thing, you know what I'm saying?
Bro,
but
Jalen Hurts went out there and was like, yeah, I've seen him carrying that book around. I don't know if he really reads it. I'm like, damn, what type of leadership is that? That's supposed to be your dog. Like,
that kind of hate. That's some hater.
Yeah, that's some. I'll say this. If that's a joke that Jalen cracks on him personally,
I'm sure it is.
That's totally fine. But if that's the first time he's said that shit, that's some hating shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's pretty stupid.
People were also pointing out on Twitter that it's like a self-helpy type of book.
It's like,
it's like the most diva wide receiver.
It's like the title.
Right. It's the most diva wide receiver book possible. Like how to be great in the face of adversity or whatever. It is like, dude, come on. In the middle of the playoff game.
Yeah. But this is what I want to say. I publicly support AJ Brown, and I'll tell you, if you're looking to improve your mental health, replace your smartphone with carrying around a book and watch what it does for your mental state of mind. When you're waiting for your wife to get out of the store she's shopping in, or your kids to get out of the bathroom, if you are reading a book for 2 minutes instead of looking at Twitter for 2 minutes, I promise you, AJ Brown, you're gonna come around to the AJ Brown side of this, bro. And if you've ever been on a football sideline, it's fucking chaos, bro. You just did your job. Now it's these other dudes' turn to go do their job. You gotta bring your heart rate, your brain down, and all that stuff. Sit down and read a little book. I fuck with it.
He looks satisfied in that photo too, bro. Like he had just I read something that hit his soul. Like, yeah, I'm gonna use this in this next rep. Nigga, fuck you mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, next possession, I'm using all of that. You know. Like he found, so I'm happy for him, man. Do that shit.
All right, we got the schedule is out for this weekend, and we knew, you heard Tyler and I laughing about the shit with the Texans. We knew this weekend we had the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. The NFL's desire to put the Texans Saturday early afternoon versus their desire for Patrick Mahomes to play his first playoff game this year at home on national television. And the schedule is officially out. And the unstoppable force won. The Texans are visiting the Chiefs at 1:30 p.m. on Saturday. And the Texans, did you see the shit they tweeted out?
No, what did they tweet out?
They tweeted out, "Clock it." It's Texans. It's Texans o'clock, baby.
That is so wild. They could never get out of that early afternoon Saturday spot, dog. You're all going up against the fucking 16-1 defending champions who are on. We all know that Mahomes is on a quest for greatness. He gets a Super Bowl here. We're having some real conversations, and y'all get 3:30 on Saturday. That is so wild, dog. That is crazy.
I just love Texans o'clock, bro. I fuck with that. So someone said, "Hey, if I tell you I'm pulling up at Texans o'clock, you know I'm getting there a little afternoon on Saturday."
Texans o'clock.
Oh, Jesus. All right. We had a little other NFL news. The Cowboys got rid of Mike McCarthy, and there's rumors about Deion making a move to Dallas. Do you buy that, Tyler?
Well, he shot it down, but I don't know how much. I mean, I don't know how much you can
take
Deion's word. And that's not anything particular to Deion. That's coaches, period. They always do that shit, right? Like they're not gonna. No coach would be at a job and be like, "Hey, we'll see. I'm pretty interested in the possibilities there. Who knows? Circle back with me in a couple of weeks. I'll let you know something." No coach is going to say that. They're all going to say, it's an alluring opportunity, but I love what I built here. Every coach is going to say that shit, and Deion stuck to the script on that.
I think especially in the portal era, because you're recruiting 365 days a year. If he goes and even says the Cowboys would be an honor, you're trying to get these 17-year-old kids to stay committed to you and shit like that. The high school kids plus the portal kids you're recruiting. So
yeah. I don't know. I would not be surprised if Deion leaves college after this year. I wonder what's next for him. Shador, Shiloh, Travis, they're all going to the NFL. He's kind of hinted around that recruiting is not really his thing, right? Like he's dropped a few quotes here and there that, recruiting and beating the old dusty trail, that's not really what he wants to do. So bro, I don't know. And he's got those Cowboy ties. He knows that, he's got some rapport with Jerry. I think he's someone who can probably get Jerry in line a bit on some things, being that, the personality that he has and also the history that he has with Jerry. I don't know. I honestly would not be surprised if that's a job that Deion takes.
Would you want to see that?
As a Cowboys hater? Yes, of course I would. Listen, NFL is a whole different ball game. I want to say this. Deion did take a leap this year in scheming in the X's and O's. He for sure took a leap there. But bro, the NFL it's a whole different league, man. It's a whole different league. And I'm not sure that I'm all the way convinced that Deion could thrive there.
Yeah. All right. One of my favorite things that happens on Twitter is when, dudes just start naming guys, and we had that breakout in the group chat. Was it John? You sent something about David Robinson?
Yeah. It was showing the numbers compared to Wemby, and David's numbers were better. And I mean, it's probably a surprise to anybody that wasn't familiar with David, you know what I mean? But I remember as a kid watching, when there was VHS and we had these NBA tapes and it was showing the best bigs and shit like that. And David's numbers were always shocking. You know what I mean? So, but yeah.
Yeah. David Robinson was one of those ones, man. I went on a little Virginia tangent. Always shout out my Virginia guys. Saying Manassas, Virginia, right there. He's a military kid. He went to Navy and shit. But yeah, man, David Robinson was legit. And you mentioned this too, John. I think it's a disservice to him that the one thing we remember is Hakeem busting his ass in those 95 Western Conference Finals.
It's the post game presser, because even on this in the video, like the NBA, they showed the presser. I remember we would be like, we were mocking him. We were like. He basically was like, he was fucking me up. He was fucking me up. Like, that's what we would say in high school watching that shit. Because that's what he did. Like, the nigga would look beside himself, like, so confused. Like, how did this happen to me? He could do nothing with that nigga. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. And that's unfortunate. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, those 95 Rockets, all-time playoff run. They were a 6 seed, bro. They won 47 games that year, I think. They were dead in the water until they got Clyde, at the trade deadline. They were a 6 seed who went through Stockton and Malone's Jazz, Chuck's Suns, David Robinson's Spurs, who had the best record in the league, 62-20, I believe. He won MVP that year. And then they went and swept the Orlando Magic. Like, bro.
And that Magic team, nigga. One thing we don't talk about too is Anthony Hardaway. Like, if he didn't deal with injuries, how special would he have been? Crazy, dude. Crazy. But I remember Robert Ory, we talk about him like Mr. Big Shot, you know what I'm saying? he was a bucket getter in that series in those two championship years. You know what I mean? Like just like, I mean, I think his average points per game went up like almost like 8 points per game or something during the playoffs, something crazy. But like, yeah, man, that was special to watch. Special to watch. You know what I mean? For sure.
Yeah.
Who was a point guard too? What was his name? Big head nigga, looked like an alien. Yeah, my
Sam
said that.
Cassell.
Sam Cassell, yeah. Sam Cassell. He was and he was what was he a rookie? Was he the rookie the first year? Or like second year? He was young as hell.
Yeah, he was in his second year because he won it as a rookie 93-94.
Yeah. So
but that Orlando squad, they were the squad that beat MJ's Bulls in 95.
It was 45 MJ.
No, listen, bro. That is
Nick Anderson poke from the back shit, you know what I'm saying?
Listen, bro. I think that is something that is MJ mythology. Because I'm going to run up some numbers here for you for the numbers that he put up that series.
Okay.
Bro, he put up 31 points per game on 48% shooting with a 38-point game, a 40-point game, and a 39-point game. MJ was back. Orlando was just better, dog. I remember that series. He wore the pennies too, bro.
I remember that. Yep.
That's the only time I've ever seen MJ wear another player's signatures.
Hey, but that's how cold Penny was. Man. That's how cold Penny was for sure.
Yeah, people were calling Penny and Shaq the new Magic and Kareem, and nobody thought it was blasphemous.
Nope.
That's how good Penny was, bro.
Penny was doing moves on the court that I had not seen anybody do from that position. He was big ass fucking point guard, and the way he passed the ball in traffic. It was like, nigga. I mean, like, the way you see people finish into the bucket and are amazed by that, that's how I was amazed by how he passed in traffic, like finding an open man. It's like the nigga had 4 sets of eyes. It was insane, dude. Like, there was hella people whose favorite player to watch was Penny. You know what I mean? Like, he was different. And his shoes was crazy. He like up until the Kobe's, he had the second best, I think, between him and Chuck. Him, like he had to like run his shoes, you know what I'm saying? Signature shoes. Yeah. Penny was probably right behind Jordan.
So. Penny's cold. But like I said, I do think that saying that MJ wasn't MJ, I think that's MJ Midfield. And I also think that
maybe it just felt like he wasn't. I didn't look at the numbers. I just watching him. I'm like, this don't feel like the MJ that I'm, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I also think that series was why they went and got Dennis Rodman. Like, because the thing is, they missed Horace Grant's rebounding and interior defense. You remember after Orlando bounced and they lifted Horace Grant up like he was the fucking franchise player? You remember that shit? They missed Horace Grant's rebounding and interior defense. Listen, stat here. After they got Rodman and they rematched with the Magic in the 96 postseason, the Bulls out-rebounded Orlando 182 to 132 in 4 games. Rodman had 26 offensive rebounds by himself that series. Orlando as a team had 39.
Bro, I remember specifically how he guarded Shaq. You couldn't guard a person like that anymore. The nigga
6'7", 220 giving Shaq hell.
He would lean on him and lock his back leg. He would lock his back leg straight that motherfucker out and lean on him. And I mean, like, Shaq couldn't. Bro, like, Dennis Rodman's athleticism was otherworldly. The strength from that wiry body, it didn't make any sense. And he's probably the best dressed man that ever came in the NBA. Yeah. Crazy as he was. But yeah. I remember reading an article. I forget what it was. Maybe it was Sports Illustrated or Slam or something. But this is when he was with the Spurs. It shows him running up the hill or whatever. And he judged his workouts by pain. He was searching for pain in the workout. Like if it had to feel a particular way, because that's how he approached the game. That's how he chose to play basketball, was, as a rebounder, where him getting 17 rebounds in a game was a normal Dennis Rodman game. You got to sign up for pain. You know what I'm saying? And like, yeah, Dennis Rodman was different.
Different in every possible iteration.
Every possible way. I look back at how he dressed on. I'm so crazy. Like, it's like the dude, I remember thinking he was just like, I never looked at him and thought he was a well-dressed person because it was just so weird at the time period.
At that time, to me, he was 40 years ahead of his time.
40, bro, like, yeah. I'm looking at Dennis. I was going through Pinterest. That's my favorite social media platform. I'm going through Pinterest. I'm looking at Dennis Rodman fits. I'm like, this shit was like, I would wear like 90% of what he had on. Everything but the wedding dress. You know what I mean?
But the wedding
yeah.
dress was such a moment in time because it was the first time our generation's masculine brain short circuited. Like people, like everyone, like I want to say a word about this dude, but I know he's way tougher and more of a man than like, you know what I mean?
Hey, man, and physical too, because also
that's what
anatomically how this nigga was built. There was rumors about that shit too. You feel me?
Oh, I didn't hear those.
Him and Jordan apparently were cracking the same motherfucker, and Jordan was jealous because the person talked about Dennis Rodman like that motherfucker was carved by motherfucking Michelangelo, whatever the fuck, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I got and the Indestructs that bro. There was never an NBA team with better sneakers than the 96 Bulls in the playoffs when we got the bread Jordan 11s, we got the up-tempos on Pippen, and we got the Indestructs on Rodman, dog. Come on, man.
Are the up-tempos Pippins to you? They're Pippins to me. I thought they were Pippins. And the blue and white ones, I always called them Jawan Howard. You know what I mean? Like, because I always saw Jawan was playing in the motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like the navy and white ones. I always looked at the up-tempos as Pippins to me. But anyway, he popularized them.
Yeah. Some Dennis Rodman stats for you. He had a 9-year stretch where he won 5 rings, won Defensive Player of the Year twice back-to-back, and led the league in rebounds for 7 straight seasons with 18.7, 18.3, 17.3, 16.8, 14.9, 16.1, and 15. And bro. And also, one thing about Rodman is I don't know if there's ever been like a better resume of dudes who they've gone through to get their rings. Like he went through Bird and McHale, MJ and Pitt, Magic and Kareem, Clyde's Blazers, Ewing's Knicks, Reggie's Pacers, Shaq and Penny, Kemp and Peyton and Stockton and Malone. Rodman was different, dog.
Different, bro. Different. And didn't what's his name? Phil Jackson say something about his athleticism like he's the most athletic
he's
player.
The most athletic player he ever coached. Yeah.
And the thing is, like, because he had that motor, he was never tired. The way he played the game, as hard as he played it, he still was never tired. Just different.
Jackson
could get out and guard a guard, but then also could stand up Shaq.
Right.
You know what I mean? And diving for every fucking loose ball. Just, bro, I would love for Rodman on the Lakers right now, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'd give my pinky up for that, nigga. Fucking nigga. Put a Rodman beside Bron. I'd give my pinky up, nigga. Fuck
Not
me.
even for a full year, for January to June.
This is 40-year-old Bron, man. We need some, dog. You know what I mean? We don't got many more. He don't got as many ticks in front of him. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, G.
He just told Gojo he likes their chances. But also, and this is what's so funny to me about Bron.
They'll be competitive.
But did you hear what he said? He said, "We're not the team we'll be in February and March." It's just like the way he openly talks about dudes on his
Some
team
of y'all niggas ain't gonna be here.
It's so funny, bro.
Everybody can't go.
Everybody can't go, man.
To April. Everybody can't go to 3 months from now. Sorry. All right. We have 2 very accomplished sports producers here. Was that a good dudes naming guys segment?
That was a great. I
felt like that was an all-time dudes naming guys. We named a lot of guys right there.
Do you want to hear a funny Sam Cassell story about Hakeem Olajuwon that he told?
I'm a big Sam Cassell fan.
When John,
I love watching him with
Sam Cassell.
the Clippers too. He was. I mean, even though they were trash, his mid-range was special.
Yeah, we had Sam on the Draymond Green show last summer at Summer League. And he told the story about Hakeem where Sam's rookie year, he came in and they went something, I don't remember the exact number, but something like 0-11 in the preseason. And Hakeem was like stinking it up. And he was like, Sam was like, this is the guy you guys have been talking about? Like, I don't get it. And then he like went to Hakeem and was like, Hakeem, like, what's the deal? And Hakeem was like, Sam like used the accent. He's like, Sam. he was like, these numbers don't count yet. These numbers don't count yet. Like, just relax. None of this matters right now. And then the regular season started and they won like 20 games in a row or something. And Hakeem averaged like 30, 14, and 6 to like start the year. And he was like, when the lights are on, like, you'll know it's okay, Sam. Like, you're a rookie, like, relax.
So I love Sam having, and this has surprised me because Sam carried, I mean, he had the big nuts celebration. You know what I'm saying? So of course, as a rookie, he's going up to Hakeem like, yo, what the fuck is going on with you?
Are you trash? Are you secretly trash?
Right? What is I don't see it. You know what I mean? I know they say
Yeah.
you're good,
Yeah.
Mr. Dream, but yeah, crazy.
Mr. Dream.
All right. We as we mentioned on the Sunday show, or if you didn't hear it, our lifelong iPhone. Would you say iPhone/Apple hater or just not participator?
I'm never
Not
been
a
a hater. I
hater.
just
Okay.
never gave a fuck.
Lifelong Android user Tyler, aka Dragonfly Jones, is now an iPhone guy. The Jenkins and Jones group chat is blue bubbles for the first time. So we need the Dragon iPhones Chronicles. How has the adjustment been, brother?
We're here, man. Welcome to 2011. It's cool, man. I've been enjoying it. It's a cool little slick interface. It's very user friendly. I like it. Like I said, I was never an Apple hater. Like, bro, like I've told y'all so many times, one of my most prized possessions is my iPod fucking 180 gigabyte, bro. Like I love that thing with everything in me. It's like an archive to me now because there's music on there that's not on streaming and shit that I've got on there. I got a fucking MacBook Air that I work with, to podcast shit. I've never been an Apple hater. I just don't give a fuck about phones like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's cool. I will say this, the thing about Apple, and what Apple's appeal always has been is that they sell community, they sell belonging, right? Like they want people who are not an Apple to get ostracized into joining the Apple family, right? And that didn't work for me. That would have never worked for me. Yeah, that would have never worked for me. Like I told you, the main reason I'm getting it because I got to FaceTime my God, baby. That's the main reason I'm getting this shit, right? So yeah, I'm happy to be here, and I'm having a really good experience with it. I like my phone.
Okay.
He had one and forgot he had one.
I did. I had a work phone.
Oh,
that I completely forgot about. Yeah,
that's funny.
Until Summer brought that shit up. So.
That's super funny.
Yeah.
I mean, whenever you or someone else would point out, like, that green blue bubble shit that they do is just to get you to peer pressure me into buying $1,000 phone. John and I always had to just be like, yeah. But the blue text do look a lot better than the green text.
And he did admit the interface for like it's just way better. I was talking to him about it. Yeah, like that shit did like he said like he didn't know what what was it? FaceTime? He didn't know how to FaceTime initially because he thought it was all separate. And I'm like, no, you can text, call, FaceTime audio, and FaceTime through the same through somebody's contact. But there'd be 6 different, apps you'd have to go through or links you have to go through.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, for his old phone. So yeah.
Okay, for sure.
Guys, I have a quick announcement. No, it's a good announcement. Old friend, old coworker, Biko is in the chat right now. She was shocked that Tyler got an iPhone.
What's
finally.
up, Biko?
What's up, Biko?
Popped up out of nowhere.
Biko.
I just gotta say, we gotta say what's up to Biko. For those who are new to the show,
man, that's
Biko is an OG on the production team. And
well, the OG on the
Biko,
production
what
team
up?
the OG on the production team was no producers, but she was volume. She was
OG.
volume OG. Yeah,
Volume
for
OG.
sure.
Day one. Shout out Biko, man. That's the
Volume.
Yeah, Biko predated Jackson. Did she not?
Right.
Absolutely.
And then she pulled it up to
Absolutely.
just fuck with the pod. That's special, man.
I love
man.
that. Yeah, Biko hit John and I up, man, with all the fires to make sure we were good and everything
Yep.
too. Good people, bro.
For sure.
Biko was she was the original, fertility Jenkins and Jones, like that. It was like a 6-month period where it was just babies flying around everywhere on the fucking Zooms, bro.
I forgot about that.
It was just like, hey, don't come
forgot.
guest
He
produce on
pregnant.
this pod unless you're
He
double
pregnant,
rapping your
dog,
shit.
pit bull in the corner pregnant. Look at everything.
Everybody pregnant.
Everybody pregnant. Oh, great. Was that an interlude or was that the intro? That shit was funny as hell.
I have nothing for this topic except that I wrote it down because John mentioned it on Sunday and I thought it was funny. But John wants to bring back gossiping 2025, and I'm very much in favor of that. So do we have any gossip right now to share?
I don't have any gossip, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I be gossiping about is my kids, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Crazy ass motherfucker. I'm gonna tell you, bro. No more. No more. Not because
done.
of them.
You're
I'm
done?
done, bro. Not because of them. It's just
Wow.
like this is the thing. This is
You
the
were
thing.
talking all that shit.
I was
He told me about
talking
200 of them.
so
He
much.
said what did
shit.
he
Like,
say, Tyler? He said he wanted.
I wanted
NBA
78.
rotation, bro.
I wanted
Yeah.
78. I said 78 at one point. Crazy, right? But like this is the thing. I didn't realize. Like, first of all, you get them in daycare, they get sick every 4 minutes. You know what I mean? They stay sick. You feel me?
That quickly gets better. But yes.
Okay. And then the thing with that too is I have 2 now. So like, you're now shoulder sick from something totally different. It's not Nora. It's you know what I'm saying? It's like they just keep, it's like something's always up. I haven't slept like a full night of sleep, probably because he's teething too as well. So, the universe had to throw that shit on top. Let me give him a little congestion on top of that. Like probably 5 or 6 days I've like 4.5 hours of sleep.
I want to give you a hug so bad right now.
No, but that's the thing though. Like if I had shorties at your age, I'd have at least, when you started, at least 5. I could have did that. I'm 42, nigga. Yeah. I need sleep. My face is this far from falling off, nigga. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I gotta. You feel what I'm saying, nigga? You know what I mean? Like,
Shar and I talk about that all the time. Like, if we'd had our first kid when and it took us a long time to get pregnant, but if we'd had our first kid when we were like 24, we probably would have had more than 2.
Oh, I would have had my basketball team
because we would have had the energy.
I would have the energy. I'm 42, holding a 2-year-old, a 6-month-old all night so they can sleep.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like I can't really sign up for
I don't think
what's
crazy.
I'm saying not,
You're gonna look back on that nostalgically.
Oh, for sure. Me and Rather talking about it yesterday. Like, this is crazy. Something's always going on. And we'll miss these times when we look back. You feel me? But I'll say this: my mom says she misses the times, but she also says she don't want to go back. She had
grateful
4.
for sure.
Yeah, she's grateful for seeing everybody grow up, nigga. You know what I mean, and doing it. You know what I mean. But I don't want to go back. I miss it though.
It's just like life. Y'all like we all enjoyed our 20s. You couldn't pay me to go back to my 20s though. I enjoyed my 30s. You couldn't pay me to go back to my 30s.
Not even my 30s. Not even my 30s. Like I'm enjoying this right here, and that's the thing too. Like as much as fun as I had and freedom as I had in my 20s and 30s, I prefer this time period with these kids sick every 4 minutes. You know what I'm saying? There's something always going on.
Better,
you know what I mean?
What's crazy they build up the immunity, and it's good. It's actually good for them too. Like medically, it's good for them to get sick and build up the immunity at this age. Yeah, we
talk about that. Like something fall on the floor, it's good. You know what I mean? You're building up your immunity. You feel me? But like also I was talking to my sister about this. I was like, when's the last time you had somebody not cry in your house?
Yeah.
Every day for the last 3 years, somebody's crying. I said, Joy, I said, when's the last time somebody cried? She said, I don't remember. Every day crying. And so like
we lucked out, man. Sometimes I hear stories.
You're at over 1,000 straight days of tears.
Sometimes I realize I don't know if we lucked out or Joy.
Y'all lucked out, bro.
We just didn't have. But even like Maya was a more difficult baby. But like she didn't like. It was just always if we stayed on the schedule with naps and feeding. And you've seen my work as a burper of babies.
Yeah.
A lot of that crying is, at least in my house, like I think a lot of the cry would have been gas, and I'm gonna get you in the chokehold, brother. I'm gonna get that baby in the stance, so we're gonna get that gas up out.
Somi is very emotionally intelligent, right?
Yeah,
but it's because she has big emotions, so she'll say things which. Like I'm making fun of the crying, but it's also really beautiful because I'll be like, Somi, what are we crying about? She's like, I'm just getting my feelings out. So good for you, baby girl. Yeah. Fucking cry.
Yeah.
But God damn, it's 1,000 times. You know what I'm saying? A day in a row. And so like, I respect that and I'm giving her a space. You know what I mean? But I'm like, damn, every day you got some feelings to get out. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a keep supporting. But like every day there's some crying. Like but I asked Joy. Joy said the same thing. I said, when the last time there was somebody didn't cry in your house? She was like, John, what the like?
She was pissed at you for asking. She was pissed at you for asking. Like your friend who hates his job, or like if you're like, how many hours did you work this week? Like, I don't want to fucking count up the hours I worked this week.
Right.
That's not the part of this I want to focus on.
That I haven't not had somebody cry in my home for 2 years. You know what I mean? I'm just going day by day. I want to add all that up and thinking about that,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Here, listen, I know there's people in the chat right now, like, that's why I'm not having babies. I saw Jackson's face and all that shit too.
Oh, the people in the chat are on
Okay.
your team. It's
Well,
just
no,
me.
but
Okay,
here,
okay,
but this
yeah.
is the analogy I've started
it's
using.
a beautiful experience.
But
And
here's
that's my favorite experience I've ever had in my life.
the analogy I've started using that I think I find the most useful, and I haven't heard anyone say it, so I'll use it here, is I really do think of it like a second puberty. If you describe having gone through puberty to any child who is to any kid who's prepubescent, every aspect of it sounds like the worst thing in the world. You're telling me I'm gonna have hair coming from where? I'm gonna be hiding a boner, or I'm gonna be getting a period, or I'm gonna start liking girls, I'm gonna start liking boys. All that it's like and then once you've gone through puberty, you look at not having gone through puberty, you're like, well, I can't imagine that. It's obviously good to be able to get an erection. Like, so that's my explanation. Not to suggest that it is like a becoming an adult type thing. It's just that's the level. It's the only 2 times your brain rewires itself that much to where John and I are looking at each other, and I'm honestly telling him I have fond memories of holding my daughter at 3 a.m. and her barfing.
Right.
And I just look at it as like special times we spent together.
Like you okay, look, when I called y'all, when Jackson was like, log in early so we can get here on time,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Yeah.
give me a second.
Nope.
I had him all night. And he
Right.
fell asleep on him. Like, let me soak in this a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I still soak in every moment. It's just like I realized it's the same reason I don't want to be out home no more. I've aged out, bro. I've aged out of that. You know, so I feel like at 42, it'd be really hard for me to keep this up. Because I told Rod, that's like, if we were to have more kids, so I'm making fun of all the whatever, but I said, I don't think it would be fair to the next kid. Because I couldn't be the dad that I've been with these first 2.
No, you can't.
Because I don't have the energy. So that's really, really, really why. You know what I'm saying? But
we got friends with 6, 7 kids, bro. And that what every parent of multiple kids will tell you is the biggest transformation is 0 to 1.
Yeah.
Then having 2 is cool. Having 3 is the next biggest transformation.
Because you
and
outnumbered.
then everything after that is the same. That's what they said. Yeah. Like, we have friends who literally were like, having 5 kids is the exact same as having 3 kids. Like, because at that point you're just like, but there's less crying because they're just that baby is going to learn to take care of itself.
Yeah. That's why I say if I was older, I mean, if I started younger, I'd have been cool. You feel me? I'd have been cool. I could have dealt with, you know what I mean? But when I'm breaking everything down, it's crazy. But I am such a better person. These kids force me to be better. And the best way in order for them to be the best they can be is me being the best me I could be. And realizing that, like, it's just G. So like, like I say, like people think I'm just, it may sound like cliche, like I'm just saying some shit where I'm like, what Somi, I've learned so much more from Somi than I've taught her. You know what I'm saying? Like from having kids, like these kids have taught me way more than I could have taught them in this span of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because of what it requires for me to help them be a better person. You know what I'm saying? Of me and what I have to change and grow where I have to grow. So yeah, G, like it's a special experience. But like I said, if I had more kids, I couldn't be the parent I wanted to be because I'm fucking old, nigga, and I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you know, Shar's dad had her when he was 50 years old. Can you imagine?
My youngest brother, my dad had him at 50, but he don't give a fuck in the way I give a fuck. Right. So, I could have more kids, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it could happen, but you know.
I need a Jenkins and Jones super fan to start the podcast. So we need a graph starting at the first SoundCloud pod that John and Tyler did on the fucking recording into plastic solo cups strung together with a string. I need a chart of the number of kids John wanted to have over the course of the podcast, because it went from 0 to 1 to 700 to 2, and now we're at 2.
The village.
Everything's a bell.
Yeah, bro. I mean, like, this is the thing. The second one, because also I'm like, I have Shola at night. We, you know, instead of like, you know, us tag teaming, all that type of shit. Like, that was more of a reality check. Like, this is what it takes in order to have multiple kids. If it was just, if one kid was just an extra kid and not all the other things that come with it, I would have had, nigga, what do you mean? Like, one kid was cake. Yeah. You know what I mean to me? You know what I'm saying? 2 kids, the logistics get crazy, and I didn't take that into consideration.
Well, you know what I mean? That was, we had a couple friends who had twins, and the thing that they all said, the best advice they got, because they were terrified of it, obviously, because they saw how like
I
you
get
know
that.
how tired people with one kid was or whatever. And what the best advice they said they got was, you're just gonna be at capacity emotionally, like whether it's one kid or it's two kids or it's three kids, like you're gonna be tired either way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna
Parent
be
tired is parent
happy
tired
either
of 1,
way.
2, 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the yes, the emotional, like,
Yeah.
like there are times, bro, when like I just gotta to be the parent I want to be, and my cup is empty, right? I have to walk away because I'm not gonna yell. I'm not gonna take anything out of these shorties. Let me walk away. Let them have a little moment. They'll be okay. I know they're safe. Like my therapist told me, like, go get some fresh air and then come back. You know what I mean? Because you'll find yourself at capacity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's at odd times. But yeah, man, this experience is like I said, it's the best experience I've ever had. It's also the craziest and the most demanding.
Yeah.
But that's what it takes for me to be the best me I'm gonna be. You know what I mean? So,
Well,
yeah.
that's a good transition spot into me talking about getting less fat.
For your loved ones, brother.
If you don't give a fuck about this, you are not going to hurt my feelings if you turn the podcast off at this time. But I mentioned on a podcast a while ago that at one point, about a year ago, my weight had gotten up to 248 pounds. And I stepped on the scale this morning. I'm at 209 pounds right now. Thank you. Please make fun of me as much as you want during this. This is not supposed to be a serious segment at all.
No, but it's beautiful, man. You was, you know what I'm saying? You was weighing the same way Brian weighs. You know what I mean? At 248.
It's 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
I do feel like I learned some lessons that might be helpful in terms of what worked for me. Cause I'm a couple pieces of background. Number one, I'm a sports writer. For most of my adult life, I became a sports writer at 23 years old. I finished work at 11 p.m. There's no healthy places in the world to eat at 11 p.m. So it's just, from the 20s, it was like, hell yeah, all right, let's get some Wendy's. I mean, you've seen my tweets about Wendy's. Like, they know me at Wendy's. What's up, Mike? It's good to see you. You want the Frosty and the Junior Bacon Cheeseburgers. But the other thing that maybe is helpful to know is that, my dad was an alcoholic. His dad was an alcoholic. And we have like a very strong history of addiction in my family. So from a young age, for me, it was like, I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to start smoking or like really do any drugs, anything like that, because this has gone poorly for everyone in my family that has even like cracked the door open on any of this shit. And I have for sure a super compulsive personality. I think I've told the story on the pod that like when I was like 8, I realized that doing Q-tips in your ear felt good. And at the end of the day, I just, without even realizing it, like in between activities, I would go do a Q-tip in my ear. And at the end of the day, it was like a little bit of blood on the end of the Q-tip. And my mom was like, we're going to have to watch out for you, brother. So, what I've tried to do in my life is to channel that problem with my brain into things that would be good for me and the people around me. I'm a workaholic for sure. John and I have been supportive to each other about some of that stuff, but like, that's what I do. I've thrown myself into my life, and I have a job that I love, which allows me to feel like it's okay that I have given so much of myself to the work I'm doing. When I had a family, it's the same thing. Throw myself into taking care of my kids, whatever, to the extent that the time I went into therapy was for remembering how to enjoy myself doing things for me, because I stopped doing it. But Tyler asked me one time in the pod, and I thought about it actually a fair amount. Like, he's like, what do you do at the end of a stressful day? He's like, I'll smoke weed or, have a little something to drink or whatever. And I was like, I don't do anything. Reading is really the healthy answer, but the unhealthy answer is I would eat ice cream or I would eat popcorn or whatever it was, that was in front of me. I would finish it. And some of that I think is tied up in like economic stuff. I've told y'all about how, jelly bean poor my grandma was, but I grew up with people who are like, you have to finish all your food or it's disrespectful to your family that was starving to death like throughout their life. So, there was between that and not having much money. Like I've told y'all, if my mom brought home a store, like a brand name box of cereal and not like the store bag, my brother and I probably, if you filmed it, looked like Wolverines. Like it was if I eat 4 bowls of the Frosted Flakes right now, I could get more than he's going to get. And I'm dead serious. My mom will come home with something and the shit will be gone in an hour. So there's like some unhealthy wiring in there. And I'm also, to tap into, I guess, some of the deeper therapy issues. Like, I'm not always super nice to myself. And so whenever my weight's always gone up and down, and I would get healthy because I would get almost like manic about working out and eating right and all this other shit. And my doctor would always tell me, like, it's not super healthy for you to do that. It would be better for you to be stable. But it was a case that, like, when I would start running, I would run like 50 miles a week or something, to where it was physically causing me to break down. And I realized it was like almost a form of punishing myself, which is kind of like something my wife is trying to get me to be better at. But like, if I lose my sunglasses, I have super sensitive eyes. I'll make myself walk around with no sunglasses for 3 months, because it's like, I can't get new ones until I've served my time or something. You know what I mean? Because like, I fucked up. But that's the way it was wired.
That's how you're wired.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're working on that. Yeah.
So like last year, I knew I was turning 40, and my mom said something to me that was super helpful, which was, she's like, you're 40. It's not really going to change from here. Like, you have to learn to live with what you have. And it's not going to be that you suddenly don't like eating cheeseburgers anymore. You can't, like, you have to stop trying, like, accept that you are a bigger dude who likes to eat, and then work within that. And so for me, it was coming up with a plan that, instead of a sort of binge purge cycle I was on, where it was like, okay, and then now I'm pissed at myself somewhere in my brain, so I'm eating a bunch of donuts and I'm turning my brain off, and then I wake up the next day like pissed at myself, like, why the fuck did I do that? It was like, why don't you find healthy things that you could enjoy that are not a punishment? Which sadly was a super revolutionary concept to me. But it was literally like trying a bunch of salads until I found some salads that, like, I actually like to eat, like a bacon Caesar salad, I think is delicious. Or an apple salad, or a lemon salad with a lemon vinaigrette, I find delicious. It's not better than a cheeseburger, but it's not like, fuck you, you don't get a cheeseburger, you got to eat this shit because you're trying to get healthy because you're a fucking fat ass, which is what my brain was functionally doing previously when I would try to get healthy. So finding stuff that I like was good. Eating in moderation was like the last hurdle for me. And it was actually a friend of mine who's also Italian who gave me perspective on that, which was like, I was just like, it's just the one thing, bro. Like, when I open something up, I'll just eat it and finish it. And he was like, yeah, but you don't have to do that. He was like, I was the same way. He went from like 280 pounds down to like 215 pounds. And so, but he told me, and he was the one where I was like, so what are you doing? He's like, I was just walking and eating less, bro. He's like, I don't go to the gym. I still eat all the food that I like eating. If I opened up a pint or a quart or whatever the like Haagen-Dazs ice cream is, 100% clearance rate in the first 39 years of my life. Now, okay, cool. I'm going to open it. I'm going to take a bite. I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to eat the top fifth of it, and then I'll put it away. And it's not as miserable as what I just described. It's more just like being mindful about what I'm doing and being like, oh, cool, now I get to eat ice cream too. Tomorrow too, instead of being like, I'm only allowed one of these a week. Friday night, I'm gonna open it up and I'm gonna fucking house it. Like, so it's been really it was really difficult for the first month to try and get into that, like, consistently not finishing my dinner, just forcing myself to be like, I'm not gonna finish my dinner. I'm gonna put leftovers away, and then I will have a little bit of steak with my salad tomorrow for lunch or whatever. That's my secret, is that there was not a secret. None of the shit that I was trying, that intermittent fat, none of that shit worked for me. So like, I still usually don't eat breakfast, but if I'm with people and we're having breakfast, I will eat breakfast, and then I will have a small lunch. And then, but like, it really was, I think I went 40 years without having how full my stomach was determine how much food I was eating, which might sound insane to say, because that's how my wife has lived every day of her life. But I just would eat all the food and then move on. And like, if I was anxious about stuff, I would realize like, oh, I've been, eating all of the kids' desserts. I've been eating bluey fruit snacks for 20 minutes. So it was like all that settling in for me and getting to a point of being like, it's okay to just accept the things about yourself instead of fighting your body and your brain, and just try to create something that feels better and leads to more peacefulness within the shit that I can't change. I guess that's what ultimately came down to it for me. And also, John told me that lifting weights will help you lose weight more than cardio would, which was very, very true. Because when you do cardio, it's like I would come home and it was that punishment thing. Like I said, like, well, I fucking rant myself into a ground on the treadmill. Let me get some donuts on the, let me get 4 Reese's Hearts on the way home.
Yeah. You can't out cardio what you eat, you know what I mean? But
Right.
also like cardio, you burn fat for like 3 hours, and then when you're lifting, you burn it for 3 days, which your muscles are trying to rebuild.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you brought up an interesting thing of like not letting your stomach decide, like how full you were. Like I remember being young, like I thought you were supposed to eat till you felt pain.
Same.
Like till you couldn't eat anymore. Like I thought that's what was expected. And then like also having 3 other siblings in the house, 6 altogether, but 3 in the house, you know what I mean? Like, nigga, you had to eat, bro, or you might not. You know what I'm saying? There was a certain amount of
the
pizza,
bus. Yeah.
a bunch of motherfuckers in here, you know what I mean? Like, get it, bro. You know what I mean? So that's interesting how that, affects you as an adult. Of course it does, but you don't really think about it as when you're younger, and even when you're older, you don't really realize until you're sitting in front of therapists and they say something.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
I think your mom said something really wise in regards to channeling it and not getting rid of it, because I'm a firm believer that like if you have an addictive personality, you cannot get rid of that aspect of you. You just have to fine tune what you're addicted to. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Because oftentimes you'll see this, like someone will be like substance abuse, and they immerse themselves in like physical fitness, or they start running, or they dive head deep into a hobby, right? Like
Totally.
like if you have an addictive personality, you just need to get rid of the bad addictions and find the good shit to really lock in on. So yeah, man, I think that was a really good point brought up by your mom.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I think I had mistakenly felt like because I did not become an alcoholic and I was like there for my kids, I was like, cool. Like, so now I can just let that personality run wild on the other shit. But it's like, what I was sitting down with my doctor was, she's telling me, she's like, I mean, you died from a heart attack at 42 versus you die from cirrhosis at 42. It's the same fucking shit, bro. Like, if you want to be here, you got to figure out a way to, get all your numbers down. Cause I went into the doctor at 30 and all the numbers were like flashing red on lipids and cholesterol and all that shit. You know what I mean? So I think that's exactly right, Tyler. But it's like, it can't always be the lesser of two evils. It's like, okay. And even like with the work stuff, like having kids has been like John said, first, none of this would have happened for me if I had not had kids. Cause the whole thing was a motivation to, and I've admitted this to Shar, like, in an embarrassed way, like being there for the kids when they're older is a motivating thing in a way that being there for your wife or being there for your own life was not motivating for me. And I've apologized for that, because it's like, that's not actually what my priorities were. It's just the way that the wiring was or whatever. And so, but that was like what made me, that was like the wake up call for me, is like, I'm 43, man, the kids aren't even gonna be out of high school. Like, like that's some scary shit to be thinking about or whatever. So yeah, I like I said, I don't really have like great advice for people other than, but that's just what worked for me, is like being at peace with myself instead of fighting myself, which I think a lot of people who are trying to lose weight or whatever is coming from a place of anger or shame at themselves. And you're just not going to achieve a lot of productive things that you're doing out of anger and shame, like in life.
One thing you said to me that was really interesting was, making sure to do things that you enjoy, because that part of your brain will erode.
Yeah.
I never thought that, if you're just focused on, or like being mean to yourself, whatever, where it'll get to a point where you'll need that part of your brain and you won't know how to have fun. Like you talked about like during the summer break, you know what I'm saying, where you had free time and you didn't know what to do because you hadn't fed that part of your brain. And I just think like people listening, when you told me, it was like eye-opening. People listening could learn from that too as well.
The story I told John about why I went into therapy, this was the summer before the pandemic was, that like I'm a workaholic. So I throw myself into it, and then it's like, oh, I got my kids. And so, like I said, and I just to be clear, like I love my job and I love my kids. Like I'm happy that I have been able
For
to give so
sure.
much of
Yeah.
myself to those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have this thing. If you know any teachers, they have the same thing. People who work calendars on the school thing, it's March, shit's starting to slide, and you're like, summer's 3 months from now. It's April. You're like, oh, okay, cool. But summer's in 2 months, and everything will be okay. It's May. Damn, I'm tired as fuck. But like next month, we're not gonna have to get up early anymore or whatever, right? And then summer hit, and I was dealing with like I dealt with depression quite a bit as a kid, and just always kind of found different ways to manage it or pull myself out of those episodes. And I sort of ran through my checklist of like shit that I would do to pull myself out of it, and nothing was working. And so that's what Shar was like, hey, you should talk to someone. She's like, and she actually kind of called me a fraud. She's like, you tell every person, you've gotten so many of your friends to go talk to a therapist, and you're fucking sitting here not knowing what to do. And you're like, well, I'm not for me, because I got to punish myself or, whatever. So, but I talked to a therapist. And that's what she said. She's like, it literally is parts of your brain. Like she said, what's the last fun thing you did that wasn't connected to work? And I said, well, I had this podcast with my friends. And she was like, yeah, but you told me the podcast is paying you now. I was like, well, yeah, it's paying us pretty good. She's like, well, hey, buddy, I got fucking news for you. That is like, might be a fun job, but that's a job. I said, okay, well, I like watching sports. And she's like, you're a fucking sports writer. She's like, you're watching the games. You're not like thinking about, like, yeah. And I was like, okay, well, I like to read. And she goes, and you're a writer. So when you're reading, you're not reading stuff thinking about what you would take or how you would do things. And I was like, okay. And so we came to video games was the one thing in my life that was not connected to work in any way that was like fun. She was like, when's the last time you played video games? And I was like, I think it was a month before my son was born. So she literally made me like put it in my calendar, like you are going to play video games for 30 minutes tomorrow night. Like put the kids down, do your full day with the kids. You want to have the time with the kids, but then like tell your wife, we're going to watch our show together or go for a walk. But like, I'm going to play video games for 30 minutes. And it's like embarrassing how effective it was to make 20 or 30 minutes of time a day for fun things.
Yeah. And you were talking about how you talk to yourself. I remember Tyler said something one time, and you were talking about you said if your inner brain was not part of you, would you fuck with that person? And that was eye-opening for me too. Like I was like, yo, because I think like because of our generation, we tend to talk to ourselves in particular ways. And maybe
I got shit with my parents
when we were younger. Yes,
yep.
And we bring that with us. And it's like, yo, if this motherfucker in your brain was not in your brain, would you be around that person? And you just got to watch that. But those are things that, really
I remember Tyler saying that because I have used that with Vinny and Maya so many times where I've said like, I could tell Maya, especially, you could tell when she's being really hard on herself. And I'll ask her, what you're thinking right now, does that sound like something that your daddy would say to you? And she'll be like, no. So well then
the fact that you could say that though, how beautiful is that?
Yeah. But like, but it's a similar thing, John, of like a lot of that work I've done over the last year comes from literally just follow the advice you are giving to your children. Like why, if this is how you want your children to be, why would you not give that to yourself of like, you don't have to beat yourself up. Like, it's so like you were talking about your kid knocks a ball on the ground. That was Char's thing that she always said was, we shouldn't be harder on the kids than we be on ourselves. If you fuck something up at work, you don't yell and scream at yourself. You go, okay, I'm gonna get it next time or whatever. And so that's what we try to do with the kids, but we don't really do that with ourselves. We're both really hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
Like if this happened 2 Christmases ago, I was backing up, some asshole like pulled his car up. I was backing out of a parking spot at one of the diagonal ones, right? And so, I hit the car. I was so pissed at myself. I didn't see this dude. I thought about this shit for a month, bro. I did not take one shower for a month where I wasn't like, now I got to deal with this fucking insurance stuff because my dumb ass, Right. And it was like literally not even a my fault accident. Like that was how like hard I was being on myself. But again, we would never tell our kids that. I would never, in a moment of happiness that Vinny was having, be like, "Do you remember this thing you fucked up 3 weeks ago?"
Right.
I would detest myself if I did that to my child. But I spent 40 years basically sort of doing that to myself. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Tyler's got some heaters, bro.
Every now and then, Let her know, man.
Tyler and my mom, bro. You know, you gotta fucking, yeah. But anyway, hopefully that was useful to someone. I don't know, whatever. But
That's definitely useful
There it
information,
is.
G. Come on, man.
Thank you for sharing, Mike. That was very nice.
No,
Thank
no,
you for
don't do
sharing,
that.
Mike.
Don't do that.
Good
Don't
job
do
sharing,
that.
Mike.
Don't do
Good
that.
job sharing, Mike.
You know, you did it.
That
That
was
was
good.
great. Appreciate you for being vulnerable and open, my nigga. That's beautiful. I
All
can't be the only bitch on this pod crying every 5 seconds, nigga. You were saying shit that made me emotional. I'm a pussy, bro. But anyway,
Yeah.
go there.
Oh, I cry every time you're being open and emotional, but that's where it's like I believe in that.
Kids change me, man. Yeah,
But it's like I believe in that, and I love being a part of a podcast that promotes that, and I'm just
sure.
much more comfortable when y'all are doing it than when I'm doing it. Like that's
yeah. But it's
that's the
beautiful to see
truth.
you do it, though, man.
But when
know
you
what
do
I'm
it, then I feel like, oh, cool, I did it. Like that's
saying?
I asked him the
Yeah.
question that led to him modeling positive masculinity.
No,
Like,
no. We
All
all
right.
got emotional in a space for that. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
all right, that's all the time we got. We'll be back on Thursday with much less about my body and much more with. Are we announcing the guest? Can we do that?
You can
Okay,
whenever,
Gojo
yeah,
is joining us on Thursday. We're going to talk some college football national championship. Obviously, he's very excited for his Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So we'll have Gojo. I also want to ask him how the interview with Braun was. You know, if that was enjoyable, how like all that. 'Cause we were just talking about having Braun on and whether we thought we could get honesty out of him and stuff like that. So excited to talk to Gojo on Thursday, and we'll see y'all then. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.